to get me. That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried. I thought love was more or less a given thing. It seems the more I gave, the less I got. What's the use in trying? All you get is pain. When I needed sunshine, I got rain. Oh, then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried. That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Oh, then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried. Yes, I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. I'm not a trace of doubt in my mind. Said I'm a believer, yeah, 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 yeah. Said I'm a believer, yeah, I'm a believer. I'm a believer, yeah, I'm a believer.
It's the time of the season when love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy and let me try with pleasured hands to take you in the sun to promised lands, to show you everyone. It's the time of the season for loving. What's your name? Who's your daddy? He rich. Is he rich like me? Has he taken anytime to show you what you need to live? Tell it to me slowly. Tell you why I really want to know. It's the time of the season for loving. What's your name? Who's your daddy? He rich. Is he rich like me? Has he taken anytime to show you what you need to live? Tell it to me slowly. Tell you why I really want to know. It's the time
All right, we're back, and thank you everybody for tuning in to Bristol's very own Channel 591. Your hostess with the mostest, Adam here. Give me 1 second. Alright. Sorry, the camera looked really great focused on the microphone, but I needed to focus on my face a little bit more. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in to Bristol's very own Channel 591. Your hostess with the mostest here, Adam. And I'm just going to run down the activity schedule for today. So, we did 10 a.m. morning exercise. We have 11 now, culinary traditions from around the world. So you're going to get to learn a little bit about how they eat and what they eat in other parts of the world. At 1:45, I have Interview with the Resident. At 2:15, I'll have the movie Sherlock Holmes coming on. At 2:15, for those of you who are not interested in the movie, I'll have Outdoor Walking Club. It's 59 degrees today, and it looks very nice out, so I say we stretch our legs and get some fresh air. At 2:30, there'll be Snack Cart. That's me running around, handing it out to everybody. And at 4:20, I'll have Team Jeopardy. I'll have some special guests out on the show. But you're also always free to play at home by yourself. And if you fill out a sheet and hand it to me, I will give you a prize. Even if you get all of them wrong. I just want you to participate and at least learn something. Because all the answers are always said, you at least get to know what the right answer is. Anyway, so right now we have food culinary traditions from around the world. So I'm going to share that with you guys. So give me 1 second. Let me just pull that up for you guys. And there we go. I'm going to do this view. One second. This thing doesn't really want to play too nice with me. Actually, this should be fine. Alright, so starting out, we have Washoku, Japan. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that for anybody who might be Japanese out there, but some of these words are a little hard to pronounce. So, Japanese food is very good, and that it was added to the UNESCO representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2013. It was added as a way to preserve it as traditional dietary habits are starting to die out across the country, but also because the food is fresh, simple, and produced with such incredible attention to detail. So you can see here's a traditional dish. Japanese food is collectively referred to as washoku. At its essence, it reflects a deep respect for nature, using natural, locally sourced ingredients such as rice, fish, vegetables, and edible wild plants. Every little detail about Japanese food, from the way it's prepared and presented to the way it's eaten, stems from historical cultural tradition that is passed down through generations. Washoku is traditionally comprised of 4 elements: cooked rice, the staple dish, soups, side dishes that give flavor to the rice, and tsukimono, Japanese pickles. So that's what I guess a traditional Japanese dinner would look like. And let's move into another one. The Mediterranean diet of the Mediterranean region. In 2013, the Mediterranean diet of Spain and 6 other countries, including Italy, Portugal, Morocco, Croatia, Cyprus, and Greece, was inscribed on the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage and humanity. Though the Mediterranean diet has certainly become something of a fad in many countries, the UNESCO has concentrated more on celebrating the rituals and processes that make the diet an important part of Spanish culture. Some of the strongholds of the Mediterranean diet in Spain include using few ingredients to make flavorful dishes while eliminating food waste as much as possible. Eating many small dishes with an emphasis on sharing and viewing food in diet as a social ritual. One of the greatest examples of food being used socially would be tapas culture. Throughout Spain, it is incredibly common to go out in the evenings with groups of friends and have a drink and share small plates of food. Another major factor in this important facet of cultural identity is the role of markets. There are large central markets in most of Spanish cities, each featuring stalls with local vendors selling their family specialties. Many markets in Spain will also include small cafe bar where shoppers can enjoy a beverage and a snack while catching up with friends. So as you can see here, here's some of the markets, and all the food there is always fresh, which is what makes it so special. So now we're moving into, I apologize if I'm butchering these names, but hawker food culture in Singapore. Nothing says Southeast Asia like a bustling food market. Singapore is an extremely... So let's just look at the picture first. We've got quite a big plate of food and a bunch of different colors out here. But we got mussels, clams, crabs. I don't know. I can't lie to you. I don't know who all these are, but Singapore is an extremely multicultural nation. And nowhere is that more obvious than the city's hawker markets. These large undercover centers house a range of small restaurants where chefs whip up a menu of diverse meals that showcase Malay, Nonya, Indian, and Chinese flavors. Many cooks specialize in just one or two dishes. Over time, they've truly refined their craft. Hawker culture dates back to the 1960s, and although the centers have changed over time, becoming more regulated and organized, they become a fixture of Singapore culinary landscape for generations. Apart from being a great place to grab an affordable meal, hawker centers are community dining rooms, spaces carved out of the city's modern urban landscape, where people from varied backgrounds come together to socialize. And then we got couscous, Algeria, Mauritania, Morocco, and Tunisia. Sorry, I'm really bad at this. I don't know about you, but couscous has always been a bit of a mysterious food item in the mind. It's often peered into a I've often peered into a bowl of couscous and thought to myself, what exactly is this? How is it made? And how are all the grains so small? In the North African nations of Algeria, people understand couscous better than most. The dish originated here. Alright, couscous is a cereal. Interesting. Thus, the process starts with a seed. The semolina that's grown and harvested is rolled by hand to form those tiny round balls. It's then steamed and finally cooked. Each of the 4 countries listed has a slightly different way of preparing and eating couscous, but one thing they all have in common is the ceremonial nature of the process involved, which are transmitted down from parents to children through observation. There are special tools involved with making couscous too, including clay and wooden instruments that are manufactured by specialized artisans. The final stage of couscous life cycle is eating. Is also linked with an important cultural practices. Traditionally shared from a large pot between family members and friends, couscous is a symbol for togetherness. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Winemaking in Georgia. And not Georgia in the U.S., Georgia, the actual country. I have a friend from there, and he says it's a very beautiful place. Georgia is synonymous with wine. No surprise. Oh, never mind. That the Caucasus, Georgia, and Armenian are the global birthplace of viniculture. Grapes have been cultivated from Georgia's fertile Alzian Valley in Caucasus region and beyond for eons. To be more precise, the first evidence of winemaking in Georgia dates back as far as the 6th millennium BC. In 2013, I'm going to skip that part. Incredibly, many Georgian families, monks and nuns, and professional winemakers alike still use the same methods of preparing wine today as their ancestors did thousands of years ago. Traditional Georgian winemaking involves using quivari, a huge amphoral-shaped clay urn that is buried beneath the ground to maintain a constant temperature. Following the Artivelli wine harvest, which happens annually in autumn, the grapes are fermented in what is called quivari. If the skins are left on, this produces skin contact wine, which Georgia has become famous for. After 5 to 6 of constant tending with range of specialty tools, the wine is ready to drink. So here we got this guy pouring some wine, and he looks excited to drink it. All right. Turkish coffee, Turkey. Oh my lord. Okay. I know a girl who told me all about Turkish coffee and how special it is. Turkey has no fewer than 3 foods. We're gonna skip that part. Turkish coffee is perhaps the best known and most recognizable. So I've actually tried Turkish coffee personally, and I gotta say it's very good. Coffee was first introduced to the Ottoman Empire in the 15th century. It was an instant hit. From that point on, Ottomans controlled coffee trading routes and were responsible for spreading coffee throughout the empire. This explains why countries and territories previously conquered by the Ottomans, including the Bosnian, and I'm not going to try and pronounce that, have their own coffee traditions that are closely related to Turkish coffee. To make Turkish coffee, roasted beans are ground up to a superfine powder and brewed slowly with water and sugar until a foam forms on top. Turkish coffee pots are integral to the ritual. Miniature bronze pots for one or large sezvi. Oh my gosh, my friend's going to kill me when I butcher these words. That hold enough coffee for a large group are presented to the drinker on an intricate coffee tray. Sugar cubes and a square of Turkish delight is usually served on the side. Brewing and drinking Turkish coffee reflects the country's communal culture. So I actually have a fun story about Turkish coffee. One of my very good friends, she's from Turkey, and she was telling me that when a man is engaged to a woman, or they're, going to be engaged and going to be together, a woman is supposed to make coffee for his entire family, or her entire family, depending on who's at the gathering. But the issue is that she makes a special cup just for the man. So everybody else gets delicious Turkish coffee, and she makes it as best as she can to impress the family. However, the man has to drink the nastiest coffee that she can make. So what she's supposed to do is take all the spices, nothing that you shouldn't eat, but just all these gross spices, all these gross things, and toss it into coffee, stir it all together, and just make a gross cup of coffee. That's disgusting. And then he has to sit in front of his family and drink the cup of coffee as if it tastes good. And he has to enjoy the entire thing, pretending that the coffee tastes good, while meanwhile, this poor Turkish man is drinking the nastiest coffee he has ever encountered. And that's just a fun Turkish tradition, so everyone else gets to drink good coffee, and he gets stuck with the gross coffee. And then we have traditional Mexican cuisine, Mexico. The country is so diverse from state to state and province to province, the result being a full spectrum of flavors, contrast, and olfactory sensations. And here you can see, here's some stuff I can tell you about. But you can see how colorful all these dishes are. But one of the most interesting facts about Mexican food, I'm not Mexican, I'm Dominican, but I do know a good amount about their food. Most interesting facts about Mexican food, the development of the national cuisine was driven by the interaction between Spanish conquistadors and the Aztec culture. Most of the Mexican food we eat today is a delicious combination of ancient traditions, Aztec, Mayan, and Spanish. The French also played their part in the story of Mexican cuisine, adding baked goods such as sweetbreads to the bolillo and the bolillo to the mix. Contemporary Mexican cuisine is more of a mix of modern ingredients from European, North American, and even Asian influences. Like anywhere else in the world, it's hard to replicate the true Mexican food outside of Mexico. I don't know how to pronounce either of these. Dolma, Azerbaijan. I'm going to see if I can get that word pronounced for me. Azerbaijan. Thank you, Google, for telling me how to say that. Azerbaijan. Dolma is one of the most popular menu items that you'll find in a restaurant in Baku and the rest of Azerbaijan. Delicious dolma is pre-cooked grape leaf stuffed with minced meat, rice, onions, and sometimes other ingredients such as peas. Interesting. The word dolma is of Turkic origin and technically is a shortened version of doldurma and translates to stuffed. Recipes and methods of dolma making are passed down from generation to generation. One of the greatest things about dolma is that the food is used as a way to celebrate guests and mark special occasions. Azeri people are extremely hospitable and love teaching their traditions. Most are welcoming of foreigners to become part of their society through learning and local traditions, the way of life, including making and eating dolma. All right. The Neapolitan. Let me make sure I'm saying that correctly too. One second. Sorry. Keep butchering all these and I feel bad.
Neapolitan.
Yeah, the Neapolitan. That's what I thought. All right, the Neapolitan, Italy. Through centuries, the art of making Neapolitan pizza has been based on a few key elements, namely water, flour, salt, and yeast. Traditionally, raw ingredients are produced in the countryside. I apologize. I really am doing bad with these names. In the hands and heart of the soul of the pizzaoli, the pizza chef, the magic really happens. There are three primary categories of pizzaoli: the master pizzaoli, the pizzaoli, and the baker. The knowledge and skills for making pizza is primarily transmitted in the bottega, or in the homes where young apprentices observe the master at work. The art of making Neapolitan pizza is a culinary practice comprising of 4 different phases: the shaping of dough balls, the spreading of the dough, and where the pizzaoli forms the famous raised rim called the cornicione, with a skillful motion known as a shife. I'm really butchering all of these. Next, the dough is topped, starting from the center and spiraling in a clockwise motion. Finally, the pizza is baked in a wood oven with a rotating movement called a half turn. Alright, we're gonna get pronunciation on both of these words. That does look interesting though, that food there. We got fish. I don't know what these are. Looks like some type of bread. We have beans. That looks like a sauce. And then some type of minced vegetable. Trying to see if I can get a pronunciation on these. Alright. Nope. Alright. I got no idea how to say either of them. I'm going to apologize. Let me see if I can at least get one of them. One of them.
Malawi.
Okay. So, Nizima, and this is Malawi. Nizima is a thick porridge made by mixing white cornmeal with water. This elaborate process that involves pulling the paste against the side of a pot with a wooden spoon as it simmers. Nizima is eaten in many parts of Africa and goes by different names for other African countries. In Malawi, it is normally eaten with two accompaniments, a protein-heavy dish and a vegetable dish. The protein dish can be meat, fish, or beans, while the vegetable dish is usually a type of dark, leafy green, such as mustard or pumpkin leaves. Young children are taught to pound maize, which is corn, and sift through flour to make nizma from an early age. And eating communal meals of nizma is an important way of strengthening family bonds. Nizma culture's significance in we're gonna skip that part. That's okay. All right, flatbread, Iran. I'm gonna get that one again. Central Asia and Turkey.
Azerbaijan.
Okay, so flatbread in Iran, Azerbaijan, Central Asia, and Turkey. Flatbread has been a long history in the Eurasia continent, and the region and country has its own variation. The humble flatbread is a hugely important to Iranian, Azerbaijan, Turkish, and Kazakhstani and Kyrgyzstani food culture. Flatbread, including I'm not even going to try this, are typically prepared by households and community members on a daily basis. Besides being eaten as a staple food, flatbread plays an important role in weddings, birth, funerals, and religious gatherings. Depending on the region, flatbread is either cooked in a stone or earth-ground oven, on a metal plate, or in a cauldron. Flatbread dough is usually prepared from simple ingredients: wheat, flour, water, and salt. Once mixed, flatbread dough is left to rest and is rolled out, cooked, and baked. Some villages still operate an oven for the whole community where the household can bring their bread to be baked. So that's the flatbread right there. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm going to see if I can... Nope, I can't get a pronunciation on online. Alright, Fitari from Malta. This is a flattened sourdough bread that's traditionally to the island nation of Malta. The name Fitari comes from the Arabic word for unleavened bread, and the dish reflects the cultural exchange that has defined Malta's history. The bread is hand-shaped. The process can't be replicated by machine, which makes it all the more special. Regional and seasonal fitari recipes use different ingredients to flavor the bread, such as olives or capers. And Maltese schools, fitari days are held to teach students about healthy eating. A young person who wants to become a fatari baker when they grow up has to go through a long and complex apprentice process first. So here we have the bread that they're creating. All right. And then I'm going to make sure I'm not butchering this again. Trying to see if I can get pronunciations on these words. I do actually love culture, so I love eating different things around the world. However, I have no one here to tell me how to say them. So I don't really mean to offend anybody. Let me see. Let's see if I can get it.
Keşkek.
It is keshkek. Okay, there we go. Ceremonial keshkek turkey. Yeah, I'm going to ask my Turkish friend about this later. Let's see what we got there. Nope. All right. Made with meat or chicken, keshkek is a stew found in Turkish, Iranian, and Greek cuisines. The dish is usually associated with ceremonial or religious occasions and is cooked by groups of men and women together in the community. Keshkek is inscribed... Oh, we're going to skip that part. After the wheat or barley is washed and prayed over the previous day, music from both drums, pipes is played as the grains are poured into large cauldron. The mix is then beaten with wooden hammers until a fine consistency is achieved. The dish is cooked outdoors over an open fire, and through the course of the night, the meat and spices are added and left to simmer. From beating the ingredients to the music performance and the thickening and stirring of the dish, the local community all gathered together to take part in keshkek preparation. So there we go, that dish that it seems like it's a big community thing. And we're going to leave with our last one, which is South Korea. Kimjang, South Korea. Basically, kimchi. So here we have it. But basically, kimchi is some type of vegetable, most frequent napa cabbage, that has been fermented in a spicy red paste that makes the red chili powder, garlic, ginger, salt, sugar, fish, sauce, and green onions. Oh, that may include. People tend to have strong opinions about kimchi. They either love it or hate it, but there's no denying that it's a required part of any Korean meal. In November each year, Korean families gather for kimjang, the traditional process of making kimchi. Historically, it was done after harvest and was a way to store enough kimchi to sustain the family through the winter season. The finished product was stored in clay jars or hangari that were then buried in the ground. Written records show kimchi has been around since the 14th century, but traditionally jjimjang was established during the Joseon dynasty from 1392 to 1897. All right. So I'm going to take that off the screen. Ta-da! It's just me now. Anyway, thank you all for tuning into Bristol's very own Channel 591. I won't see you guys till about 1:45, where I'm going to have an interview with the resident, with with a special guest. Not supposed to disclose who it is. Then 2:15, we'll have a movie, Sherlock Holmes. At 2:15, there's also Outdoor Walking Club for anybody who wants to join me. 2:30, there'll be Snack Cart brought to your rooms. And 4:20, there will be Team Jeopardy. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. You all have a lovely day, and take care. I'll see you all soon.
Shaka hookah 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 shaka hookah 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 shaka hookah hookah. just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Lips as sweet as candy, its taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another cup of wine. Got a bug from you, girl, but I don't need no cure. I just stay a victim if I can for sure. All the good love when we're all alone. Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. All the good love when we're all alone. Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I'm hooked on a feeling, and I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I said I'm hooked on a feeling, and I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Hooked on a feeling.
I thought love was only true in fairy tales, and for someone else, but not for me. Our love was out to get me, that's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Then I saw her face, now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind.